Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So summer is here, people. Summer is here. We are in the thick of it. Well, today we are anyway. It's really hot outside today and I am inside filming videos for you, but it's all good. I love doing this. I have filmed this makeup look for you and it's over on my Instagram. I just feel like because summer is here and there have actually been quite a few new bronzers that have come out, I feel like I need to tell you about them and tell you which ones are my favorite basically. So we're just gonna go through my favorite bronzers and the shades. So let's just start off. Ooh, where shall we start? Right, do you know what? I'm gonna get this one out of the way because this one isn't new, but I mean, it would be rude for me not to mention MAC Give Me Sun. I mean, the name just says it all. Give me sun. That's exactly what it does. The shade of this, the tone, I've said it 1,000,001 times, like, come on, it's just beautiful, it's perfect, and I feel like I compare every single bronzer that I get or wear to this because this one is like so up here that everything kind of needs to match this. This is really versatile for quite a few different skin tones and I just feel like it's super complimentary, really natural looking on the skin, not heavy whatsoever. It's just beautiful, okay? So now that we got that one out of the way, we can get into some others. So my next bronzer is actually one that is quite recent. It's very new and I didn't do a full-on review on this bronzer. So here we go. It's the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer and geez, look how big this is. Like, maybe my head looks big on screen, but I am telling you in person, I have a pea head. I'm 5 foot tall, just about. And this bronzer is as big as my head. It's huge. Aside from that, comes with a massive mirror. Also, just in terms of the actual bronzer, it's very buildable and it's really beautiful. The shade of this actually works perfectly. I did actually try shade 3 first. I found that also worked really well on my skin tone, but I would have to go in with a really small amount and be really mindful not to put on too much because then the color would just come up way too dark. And it was just a bit, you know, it was a bit more of an unrealistic shade for my skin tone. Maybe if I was more tanned. But shade 2, however, I feel like it just gives you that natural bronzer vibe. It just looks really natural on the skin. Another thing is that this bronzer is a matte finish, but although it's matte, it's actually really like smooth and it just feels like it just glides onto your skin. Where it says airbrush, that's exactly how it looks and feels. It kind of just melts into your makeup, into your skin. So it's kind of there, but not there. And it's, like I said, it's buildable. So a really lovely bronzer. Also, this is gonna last you a hell of a long time because of the size. Next up is another new bronzer. And this is the NARS Matte bronzer. And this is in the shade Samoa. Now, NARS recently brought out a few more shades. They extended their shade range in their bronzers because before I believe they only had Casino and Laguna. So now there is this one, which is Samoa, and I think this is meant to be one of the lightest ones. However, I've got it on today and I don't find that it's like that light. It's really, again, a very buildable bronzer. And the shade of this is a really nice, perfect warm shade. It kind of basically reminds me of MAC Give Me Sun, but just with a slight bit more depth. And when I say depth, I mean like, it's just a little bit like, it's got a bit of a like a deeper, ashy deepness to it rather than like a red warmth, but it still bronzes, if that makes sense. So instead of it being like super like red and warm, it's more deeper bronze. And I find that most complimentary on my skin tone. Also, another thing that I really love about this bronzer is how smooth it is. For a matte bronzer, it looks smooth in the pan, first of all, but you know when it just looks smooth in the pan, you think, is it gonna look like that on my skin? Yes, it does. It actually is so smooth and soft. It kind of reminds me of the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush bronzer, whereas this is just a teeny touch bit deeper. In terms of the finish of both of them, they are very similar. It's just really smooth, really soft on the skin, and it's just really beautiful to work with. Moving on, this one's not new, but it's a bronzer that I'm like obsessed with. Again, it's a matte bronzer. This is the Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Island Ting. I love this bronzer because it kind of actually reminds me of MAC Give Me Sun, but a little bit more matte. So the shade is actually really, really spot on. It gives you a really nice amount of warmth to your skin. Again, a very buildable bronzer. I actually don't like it when you dip your brush in and then there's just like too much bronzer on your brush, you know? When you put it on your face, you're like, oh God, and it's really, really hard to correct heavy bronzer. It's really hard to go backwards from that because it can look a little bit muddy. So I much prefer bronzers that are pigmented but buildable, and I feel like that is what the ones that I mentioned are. And again, like I said, the shade of this is very much matte Give Me Sun, so really nice and warm, really nice and natural on the skin, but it's just slightly more matte. And again, it just sits really nice and soft and smooth on the skin. And finally, for my last powder bronzer, I've got two cream ones to mention. This one, I have to be a little bit careful with it, but I love the shade. It's the Benefit Hoola Caramel Bronzer. So I love this bronzer because of the shade. It's definitely very warm. Like if I want to make myself look extra warm or extra tan, this is the one I'm going for. And I find that out of all the bronzers I've mentioned, this is probably the warmest, and this would work on quite a few warm, tan, medium skin tones. But the thing with this is that one kind of bronzer that I have to be a little bit careful when applying it. I just have to make sure I go in with a little bit less just because of how heavily pigmented it is, but it's still not crazy bad. I just really like the shade of this bronzer, and it also does look really beautiful on the skin. So that's just another one to mention. And then finally, I want to talk about cream bronzers, and I'm just going to talk about two because these are really the main two that I use. The first one is the Huda Beauty Tantour. So normally when I am contouring, I like to use the shade medium, which is this one right here, but it is a little bit dark. So when I want more of a natural kind of vibe, then the shade light is actually really, really pretty, and it's quite warm on the skin, as you can see, and it just looks a little bit more natural. I love this because they are so easy to use and really, really easy to blend out. I feel like it's a product you can't really go wrong with. I used to be quite scared of cream bronzers and all of that, but products like this just make it so much easier just to kind of get it on, blend it out, and where it's cream, it's much easier to correct. If you're putting it on your like bare skin, or if you're putting it on skin with foundation, if you go in with too much, you can always just pat it out and you can just work it into the skin a little bit. So cream's quite a safe bet, and it also looks really nice on like summer days, hot days, when you don't want to go in with too much makeup, but you want to give your skin like a natural warmth. Creams are really going to be your best friend. And then my other favorite cream bronzer at the moment, which I'm sure you could guess what it is, it's the Fenty Beauty cream bronzer in the shade Honey Glaze. Now I won't go on about this too much because I recently just did a full review on the cream bronzers, but all I'm going to say is if I compare this one to the Huda Beauty one, the Huda Beauty one's kind of a bit more matte on the skin. This gives you like a natural kind of sheen on your skin. It just gives you a bit of a sun-kissed glow at the same time, but without looking oily, without looking dewy or anything. Like it just looks like moisturized skin that has been hit by the sun. Boom. Mic drop. That was a really good description. Also, the shade of this is really like natural on my skin. It just looks like I've been in the sun. Like I love it. They're also so easy to use, so easy to blend out. Just winner, 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 chicken dinner. Love it. Those guys are my favorite bronzers that I'm absolutely loving, obsessed with. You've seen me use all of them probably in videos already because yeah, I just really love them. It's summertime now. Get your bronze on, people. Glow up, bronze up, and I hope this video has helped you out with finding your next bronzer. So give this video a thumbs up if it did actually help you. Let me know if you've got any of these. If there's any bronzers I need to add to my collection, let me know. I mean, I've got loads of bronzers, but these are my faves at the moment. And also there's just new ones in here, which is exciting. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, guys. We are nearly at 200k subscribers on YouTube. What? I'd really, really love it if you join the family. Don't forget to get me on Instagram, TikTok, wherever else you want. Yeah, just come and join me. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all in my next video. Mwah. Bye.